Welcome to the Health and Government Operations Committee. I wish these little messages would go away. We will be voting today on voting list number 18, and we're going to do the list in mixed up order. We're going to start our voting with Senate Bill 295. And I'm going to ask Lindsay to explain what the solution is. You do have the amendments.
And it's Erin on this one.
I'm sorry, Erin.
Okay.
Yep.
So Senate Bill 295 modifies the requirements for Medicaid reimbursement to an emergency service transporter for services provided in response to a 911 call. Reimbursement must be provided for medical services provided to a Medicaid recipient in response to a 911 call in situations when the recipient is not transported to a facility, and for mobile integrated health services. Reimbursement for mobile integrated health services must be specified in regulations and at least $100 per interaction. The Public Health and Minority Health Disparities did pass the bill in subcommittee 2 days ago. Since then, Delegate Pendergrass is offering an amendment to the bill, and that bill can be seen on, or that amendment can be seen on page 9. But there's also a reprint of the bill that starts on page 10 that incorporates Delegate Pendergrass's amendment. You'll see that, I didn't write what page, but in the bill, I don't have the handwritten page, but it's bill page 2, lines 26 through 30. The bill is being amended to provide that in fiscal year 2023 only, the department will increase the amount of reimbursement authorized under paragraph 1 of the bill for the cost of transportation and medical services by $50. Likewise, if you look on page 3 of the bill, in fiscal year 2023, the department would also reimburse the amount of reimbursement required for the mobile integrated health services. I'm sorry, for the cost of transportation and medical services by $50. So a one-time increase in 2023. And then the Senate had actually sunsetted the bill in 3 years, and Delegate Pendergrass's amendment would lift the sunset. So this one-time increase of $50 would be permanent.
So with that, since the subcommittee chairman is Delegate Penny Melnick. She's not here. So as you all know, we're working around her today because we have enabled her. And I want to thank all the members of the committee who have helped enable her to go to the White House today to celebrate the election or approval of the new judge appointment. I guess that's the word. Yay.
Confirmation.
Thank you. Confirmation of the new judge. Thank you, Delegate Hill.
KBJ.
And I'm so grateful to all of my members for helping make it possible. So thank you. But with that, it did not go to subcommittee after the original vote anyway. This has been a difficult bill to get agreement on because of the budget implications, because I was given strict orders to not cost anything anymore, because as I said the other day, we've done such a great job funding health issues this year, but we managed. And so this is the change that we came up with that I could get people to agree on, and I'm hoping the committee feels good about, instead of $25 over 3 years, each 25 each year, instead we're doing $50 in the first year, which I suspect comes out better in a person's pocket than the other. Delegate Hill, you're first with questions.
Thank you, Erin. This is because it's not specified, but if I recall, it goes then from 100 to 150, or is it variable around the state?
It'll go to 100 to 150.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so
Delegate Riley has her hand up.
I'm sorry, Delegate Riley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just wondering if I could have the privilege of actually the honor, I guess, to actually move this amendment favorable.
Second.
Yes, as a bipartisan amendment. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
You're very welcome. This has been a bipartisan bill. The partisanship was not involved in this bill. This was strictly a budget issue bill. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Opposed,
Aye.
no. Please
Aye.
raise your hands. And I'm opening the participants chat. I see no nos. The amendment passes unanimously. Delegate Riley, would you like to move the bill as amended?
Absolutely. I would like to move the bill as amended.
Second.
Any discussion on the bill as amended? All those in favor say aye. All those
Aye.
opposed, no. Please raise your hands. The bill passes unanimously, and it is a Senate bill, so you will not be co-sponsors of that bill. But because we've passed that bill, I would now like to turn to Aaron to do House Bill 44.
So there are amendments in your packet that would conform House Bill 44 to Senate Bill 295 that you just passed.
Would someone like to pass?
Move.
Move?
Move the amendments.
Amendments.
What about Teresa?
Yes, I would like to move the amendments.
Second.
All right.
Or the bill as
Moved and
amended.
Seconded. Any discussion on the amendments? All those in favor say aye. All those
Aye.
opposed, please raise your hands. The amendments pass unanimously.
I'd like to move the bill as amended.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those
Aye.
opposed, no, raise your hand. I see no nos. Now I'll ask the big question. How many people would not like to be a co-sponsor of this bill? Is there anyone who would not like to be a co-sponsor of this bill? Okay. Everyone who is here, and the only person I know who's not here is our vice chairman. Is there anyone else who's, anybody knows is not here today?
No, that is correct. Just
Okay,
JP.
wonderful. Okay. Okay, and she's excused, or whatever it is we do for people who aren't here. And with that, we will move to Senate Bill 242. Aaron.
And Madam Chair, if I can just inform the committee, the ambulance bill is jointly assigned with appropriations. So if you're looking for it to be on the floor right away, appropriations intends to pull their committee from the floor, vote on the bill. So we'll get it to
Yeah,
second.
and the chairman is aware, and I don't think there's any problem. So just so you know. Okay. 242?
So Senate Bill 242 is cross-filed with House Bill 109. And it's my understanding that House Bill 109 might be amended on third reader in the Senate. So I asked the chair if it was okay if the committee held off just to see what they do to try and conform and avoid conference if necessary.
And because I think it's easier and cleaner to just hold it for now and maybe pull you off the floor if I have to. Is it a big amendment or a little?
No,
amendment?
It's
Okay.
okay.
Well, if we need to do something on this bill, we will pull you off the floor. There's no shenanigans going on. This is just a matter of trying to get it through in a streamlined way.
Yes.
So with that, is there anything else anyone needs to bring up, or are you ready to eat lunch?
Madam Chair.
Delegate Hill has this.
Delegate Hill. You're muted, Delegate Hill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just going to ask if there are any advantage to Aaron just explaining the amendments now, so we don't have to explain them when we leave the floor in as much detail.
So I mean, I can tell you what the Senate has done.
And what you anticipate that they're going to do.
Oh, so there's a provision, let me get the right bill in front of me. There's a provision about if a condition was not approved, to approve it within a year. And that was part of procurement language that got stricken. And when they struck all the procurement language, that piece about, in screening for the condition within a year got inadvertently stripped. So that's what they're trying to retain. And I think it'll pass, but I'd just like to see if it does, and then you avoid the conference issue.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
We have concurrences as well.
Oh, I always forget the concurrences, as we all know. Okay, I have what look like two concurrences as I recall. Which one would you like to start with?
So I actually have three, but the first one is a little bit strange. House Bill 325 is state procurement payment practices. And while we got these amendments this morning, apparently somehow the concurrence made it to the floor. So you actually have all voted on the floor on this bill, even though we didn't vote it in committee.
No wonder I looked so dumbfounded that there was a bill up there that didn't seem familiar to me. Thank you.
What's the bill number?
So it's House Bill 325, and it just conforms it with Senate Bill 250, which you did all vote yesterday in full committee. So what the Senate did to House Bill 325 is it require Department of Information Technology to report on the status of the comptroller's online payment portal. And then it also expressed legislative intent that any upgrade to FEMIS include goals to significantly reduce the amount of time in which payments are processed. So you all did vote on the Senate bill yesterday, which is, this is conforming it to, and the full House already voted to concur on the bill.
So that means I can throw this
So
away.
you can throw that pice of paper away, yep.
Super duper. Okay,
The other two bills that I've got are the cybersecurity bills. House Bill 1202, Local Government Cybersecurity Coordination Operations, and House Bill 1346, State Government Cybersecurity Coordination and Governance.
right. Okay, which one would you like to do first?
I'll do 1202. The Senate amendments make the bill an emergency bill, alters the duties of the Cyber Preparedness Unit in MDEM, and also requires PINs and associated funding for the unit, alters procedures for reporting local cybersecurity incidents, alters the qualifications for the State Chief Information Security Officer, alters the responsibilities of the Office of Security Management, establishes that state unit expenditures for cybersecurity projects are subject to the requirements for IT project requests, establishes the Information Sharing and Analysis Center in DUIT, requires DUIT to determine the frequency of local cybersecurity preparedness and response plans as opposed to requiring those annually, authorizes DUIT to establish a program to offer favorable rates to locals to procure IT and cyber services, requires locals to certify compliance with minimum security standards which is reviewed by independent auditors. And if it's not remediated, the Office of Security Management shall assume responsibility for that local cybersecurity. It has a funds transfer from the dedicated purpose account to implement the act and requires the CISO to determine when a cybersecurity incident should be disclosed to the public and report to the committees. As I understand, the House is not planning to concur in these amendments and plans to go to conference committee.
That's correct. That is my plan. Does anybody want to weigh in on this? Or, I mean, I will move to not concur. Is there a second?
Second.
Delegate Rosenberg may have, but you
Second,
were muted, but okay, good.
second.
Thank you, Delegate Bagnall and Delegate Rosenberg. So do you want to discuss this beyond my saying we don't want to concur? Delegate Bagnall.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My only question, because I agree this, I know the House worked really diligently on this in the committee. Is there value in making an emergency bill?
I understand that that's necessary for the funds transfer.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Delegate Hill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just curious if there's one or two particular pieces of the Senate amendment that we take issue with, or is it all of the, I mean, it seems like they didn't strip out things we did. They're just going a little bit further.
I don't know that. Actually, I was sort of interested in what they did with the qualifications because that's been a priority of mine through this whole process.
So Linda,
I know
can I
that
ask
was, and that was the change in the qualifications is a pretty minor piece, actually. The Senate, the committee amendments struck out the requirement that the CISO have knowledge of, it said current security regulations and legislative content. So they struck that and legislative content. And then
Okay.
the floor amendment that the language now says have experience identifying, implementing, and assessing security controls. They changed that and to or. And then also have experience in infrastructure, systems engineering, and cybersecurity. And that and was also changed to or.
So they essentially weakened everything and they don't care that
a little
they
bit.
have experience.
Well, the
No,
experience.
We're only
is
dealing
still
here
there.
with
It's
the
just
qualifications part. They probably did a lot of other things too. I don't think we've had a chance to have a good look at this, but if we don't concur, we'll put together a committee.
Committee, yep. In particular, the concern I've heard on this bill is there's a special section on local governments certifying compliance and the independent audit. And then if they don't remediate their findings, this Office of Security Management shall assume responsibility for a unit's cybersecurity. I think that there might be some interest in adjusting that language, but I don't know how.
I think that might be an understatement. Anyway, so let's vote on all those in favor of not concurring, please say aye. All those who would like to concur, please say no. I see no no's in the panel. I should have said raise your hands. We will not concur, and I'm going to appoint Rosenberg, Kipke, and Sample Hughes to the conference committee. So 3 delegates, pay attention. These things kind of move fast. So, oh, and Rosenberg, you're the chair of it. We'll hope to do the best job possible and get what we can. We're tough.
Understood.
Okay.
I have 2 that should be quick.
I haven't done 13.
Oh, I'm sorry.
we're
I'm
not-
sorry. I
yeah,
know she
we're
doesn't
not-
have them in front of her.
Right, no, I don't. I'll try to remember to keep going. I have House Bill 1346. Lindsay.
The Senate amendments, some of these are redundant. If you'll recall, there's duplicative language between 1202 and 1346. So some of these changes were made in both bills. If you hear what sounds like the same thing that I just said on 1202. The Senate amendments alter procedures for reporting local cybersecurity incidents, alter the qualifications of the information security officer in the way I just described, alter the responsibilities of the Office of Security Management, includes non-voting members of the Maryland Cybersecurity Coordinating Council on the Maryland Cybersecurity Coordinating Council, and alters the responsibilities of the council, defines master plan to include the statewide cybersecurity strategy, removes exemptions from IT procurement oversight for the State Board of Elections, the Office of the Attorney General, the Comptroller, and the State Treasurer, strikes language that the master plan allows units to procure IT equipment and services, strikes language that would have made DO-IT responsible for assisting in the procurement of cybersecurity services paid for by the state and used by locals, strikes language that DO-IT shall help with IT procurement for state units on request, requires external assessments for each unit of state government every 2 years rather than 3 years. For legislative and judicial branches, requires independent audits that meet relevant NIST standards, requires the Office of Security Management to prepare a transition strategy for cybersecurity centralization, requires each state unit to certify compliance with minimum security standards, requires DO-IT to hire a contractor to assess DO-IT's ability to implement the act, transfers funds from the dedicated purpose account to implement the act, and requires the CISO to determine when a cybersecurity incident should be disclosed to the public and report that to committees.
Thank you, Lindsay. I think I forgot to move to not concur. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion of not concurring? All those in favor of not concurring, say aye. All those opposed,
Aye.
please raise your hands. It's unanimous. We will not concur. We will appoint a conference committee consisting of the same people on the other bill because they're going to be doing a lot of overlap. Rosenberg, Kipke, Sample, Hughes. And now we have 2 more concurrences, which I know nothing about. So we'll move on to Erin.
So one concurrence is to House Bill 1078. That was the bill that required the study of the THC 8 and 10. If you recall, this committee adopted a floor amendment to Senate Bill 788. And this amendment to House Bill 1078 is that same floor amendment that added representatives from the Forensic Sciences Division and the State Police and representative from the U.S. Cannabis Council to that study group.
Okay, so that put it in conformance with.
They'll be the same.
Yeah, okay. I move to concur.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Raise your hands. Seeing none, we will concur with the Senate amendments.
So the other amendment was to House Bill 971. This was Delegate Kipke's bill that was not cross-filed. The bill required MDH and the Behavioral Health Administration to ensure that the specialty mental health system has an adequate network of providers available to provide alcohol and drug abuse treatment for children. The Senate amendments just, really, it's a technical change, changing references to alcohol and drug abuse to substance use disorder, and also makes the bill an emergency bill.
Delegate Kipke, are you good with this?
Great amendments. Wish we had thought of them.
All right, I move to concur. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Raise your hands. Seeing no hands, we will concur with the Senate amendments. Okay, that's two. We done? Any more surprises before we leave?
No more, leave.
Okay, well, you know, for those of you who haven't done this before, it's a wild ride from here to the end of Monday night. So just relax, be flexible, and try to keep a sense of humor. And as Mike Bush would say, take a deep breath from time to time, because we're going to need it. And with that, I'd say again, thank you to all of you for all that you do, and keep up the good work on third reader. For those of you who are handling bills that you're stepping in at the last minute for Delegate Peña-Melnick, I appreciate it. And we'll get through this. And tomorrow will be another day with all kinds of new challenges. See you on the floor later. We are adjourned.